This right here is the Dell XPS 13, quite possibly the best Windows Ultrabook out there. No, I'm not kidding. In all seriousness, the Dell XPS lineup has always been one of the best in the game, and with this one being based on the new Intel EVO platform, nothing, and I mean nothing, even comes close. Now with that being said, should you be buying the Dell XPS 13? Let's try and find an answer to that very question. This is Varun from Guiding Tech, and you're watching my in-depth review of the Dell XPS 13 2021 edition that is based on the new Intel EVO platform. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with the design. Now, if you've seen our review of the 2020 edition of the Dell XPS 13, you know where this is going. See, essentially the 2021 variant is pretty much the same design. The only changes that you'll see are under the hood with the 11th gen Intel processors, which I will talk in a bit. And to be honest, it's not a bad thing, because the design here is already perfect. Now, I don't like to use that word very often, but I will make an exception this time because the design here is really good. Thanks to its bezel-less display and stretched out keyboard, the Dell XPS 13 is a 13-inch laptop inside an 11-inch frame. The 91.5% screen-to-body ratio is a testament to that very statement. And it's way too portable, weighing in at just 1.2 kgs. The screen comes with Gorilla Glass 6 protection, and the entire body is made with a single slab of aluminum. Now, my favorite part here is this carbon fiber texture here on the wrist pads. It feels good, and while it does attract smudges and stains, it can easily be wiped off with any cloth whatsoever. Now, in terms of connectivity, you get two USB ports, one on either side, coupled with a headphone jack and a microSD card reader. Those Type-C ports are actually Thunderbolt 4 ports, thanks to it being based on the Intel EVO platform. As such, you can attach multiple docks to it without losing any bandwidth per se. Adding on to the EVO platform, the Dell XPS 13 also makes use of a fingerprint scanner for quick Windows Hello unlock. It doubles up as a power button, enabling instant unlock, and in my testing, I faced absolutely no issues whatsoever. Next up, we have the display, and while Dell now offers a 3.5K OLED panel as well, right here we have a 4K touch-enabled IPS LCD panel. See, I am not a fan of that high of a resolution on this small of a chassis, but there's no denying the fact that this is as good as it gets. The panel offers 100% sRGB and 90% DCI-P3 color calibration. And what makes everything even sweeter is the 16:10 aspect ratio. I swear to God, this is the best screen ratio for work. The touch factor feels more like a novelty because it comes in handy only while browsing the web or something similar. Since it does not fold up, I do not have much use of the touch panel here, but it's still something that I would flex on as a consumer. Then there's the keyboard and touchpad, and I won't dwell much onto it because, well, they're perfect. That's about it. In fact, I would go as far as to say that as far as Windows laptops go, both the keyboard and touchpad are the best in the game. The only thing I would like to highlight is that since this is a white colored model, daylight visibility of the keyboard is a bit of an issue. The text is far more readable on the black variant that we had earlier, so there's that. Now, internally, this thing comes with a 52 watt battery, which in my normal use case lasted well over 10 hours. That includes web browsing, using Photoshop, listening to Spotify in the background, and watching a lot of YouTube and Netflix. The best part, this was with the battery profile set to high performance. As such, I am pretty sure that you could squeeze maybe up to 12 or even 13 hours of battery backup from the XPS 13. Now, if that sounds low to you, keep in mind that this is with 4K resolution. If you're someone who's concerned about the battery backup, you might be better with the 1080p variant. And that one would last you easily over 18 hours. Once again, all thanks to the Intel EVO there for this amazing battery backup. Now, charging it is super convenient too. Just use one of the two Thunderbolt 4 ports to juice this thing up with the provided 45 watt charger. Alright, so now let's talk performance. Our unit here comes equipped with an 11th gen Intel Core i7-1185G7 processor coupled with 16GB of LPDDR4x RAM clocked at a whopping 4267 MHz. Powering the GPU department is the all-new Intel Z graphics, and as for storage, we have a 1TB NVMe SSD included. That processor is something to keep in mind because while most brands offer the 1165G7 variant, the XPS 13 comes with a top-of-the-line 85G7 processor. On paper, all this sounds good, and thankfully, it also shows in the real world. As you can take a look on your screen, the Dell XPS 13 manages a score of about 4800 in PC mark and 1731 in Time Spy 3D mark. This is a really good performance from an ultrabook that comes inside this thin chassis. As for creative use cases, the panel itself is great, and the combination of the CPU and GPU help in handling heavy Photoshop files and 4K footage in Premiere or DaVinci Resolve without any issues. Also keep in mind that all of these tests were done while running on 4K resolution. However, when we talk about gaming, let's be a little realistic and we'll drop down to the 1080p resolution because let's be frank, you won't be gaming 4K on that panel anyway. And in that scenario, the Dell XPS 13 once again manages to exceed expectations. Like seriously, the Intel Xe graphics is really good. Esports titles such as Valorant and Rocket League run over 100 FPS easily without any issues, and if you don't mind playing at 30 FPS, you can even play AAA titles like Far Cry 5 on this. Speaking of AAA titles, like I said, this thing is based on the Intel EVO platform and comes with the Thunderbolt 4 ports. As such, you can use this as your business laptop, take it out for work, use it on your productivity, and then come back home and plug in an eGPU to it using the Thunderbolt 4 ports, and voila, it's a proper gaming machine. Now the best part that I like about this machine in terms of performance is that it's not just the peak performance, but it's sustained performance. That's possible thanks to the dual fan setup inside here. So in my testing, I was barely touching even 55° mark in normal usage and got up to 67 degrees while playing Valorant or using Photoshop with multiple layers. The fans do speed up, but nothing that's annoying or anything. It just goes to show how much the Intel EVO platform helps laptop manufacturers to achieve their full potential. Okay, so I've mentioned Intel EVO quite a lot of times, right? So what exactly is it? Well, do you guys remember Project Athena? Think of Intel EVO as Project Athena 2.0. Not only does Intel have good guidelines laid out for its partner manufacturers, but the company is also working closely with those manufacturers to help achieve those goals. The basic guideline for each Intel EVO laptop is that it should have a great battery backup of at least 9 hours, should support instant wake, have support for fast charging, and come with Wi-Fi 6 and Thunderbolt 4. And of course, they're all powered by the 11th gen Intel Core processors. With support from Intel, the Dell XPS 13 manages to deliver on all these fronts. So, is the Dell XPS 13 worth your buck? I have absolutely zero concerns in recommending this laptop to anyone out there. The XPS lineup has always been great, and the Intel EVO platform makes it even better. The only thing to note here is that which variant to go for. See, if battery is your main concern, then obviously the 1080p variant would serve you better because that promises the best battery backup out there. On the other hand, if battery life isn't of much concern to you, it's still gonna last at least 10 hours, which is great, get the 4K touch model that we have here. Lastly, if you plan to do a lot of creative work, you might be better off spending more on the OLED variant for the best display experience out there. Regardless of which variant you go with, the Intel EVO platform ensures that you always get the best performance. And well, that was it. If you like this video, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Ron from Guiding Tech, and I'll see you in the next one.